Hi there, my name is Jesse. Welcome to the Ivory Tower Collections. This is actually my first video, but I thought I would do something for my first video, something I thought kind of cool and unique that everyone might get some enjoyment out of seeing. So for my first video, it's actually going to be an unboxing video. Enjoy. Okay, so here's the package I received. I received this in from Brazil, as a matter of fact, and had been very anxiously awaiting this. Now, what this is this is a game for the Atari 2600, and specifically, it is a heavily modified, normally we would call these hacks, which means, you know, an enhancement or maybe graphical changes to a particular well-known game. I think this one kind of goes beyond that. It's not quite a homebrew because the coding isn't originally 100% from scratch, and it's certainly not a rewrite of the game, but it is very heavily modified. Additional levels, changes to the character, graphics, and sprites. I think also different changes to the balance and gameplay. Additionally, one of the coolest features is that the game has been programmed to essentially change every time you power cycle the Atari, which is really cool. So, what is the game? Well, it is a modification or extension of a Tigervision game known as Marauder, which is a very cool Tigervision game. It's one of the more difficult to acquire games because it's got kind of a higher rarity value versus others. In fact, I do not yet own a copy of Marauder. So, when this became available, I was actually pretty excited because I kind of looked at it as, I can sort of get, I can kind of kill two birds with one stone, as it were. Because I would have a copy of the game plus the enhancements to it. So, I finally got it today from More Work Games. Is their first major release, boxed production of their version of Marauder called A New Marauder. And I apologize if I mess up the name here, but this is from Darcio Perestes, I believe. So here's the box that I received today. Now I've already removed all the shipping labels and addresses to protect the innocent. I was a little worried because, as you can see here, the box, hadn't been quite Ace Ventura Pet Detected treated, but not too far from it. Luckily, and I'm pleased to say that More Work Games double packaged in that the boxed complete game is within its own separate box within a box. So great protection there and excellent quality of the shipping. Now, as for the game itself, it is also very heavily bubble wrapped inside of this box. So again, it's very well protected. The shipping really couldn't have been any better unless it was in an armored box with armed escort arriving at my door. So, very impressive shipping and packing methods there for More Work Games. Now, I have already opened this up, so technically I guess this isn't an unboxing video, but you're still going to see essentially how I received it here. It has a lot of bubble wrap around it, and I do mean a lot of bubble wrap. It actually took me a long time to initially remove this because it's taped up in lots of places. And then from there, the game is also in its own little Ziploc bag. And there we are. More Work Games release of A New Marauder, an enhancement to the original Marauder by Tigervision. Now the box is, I gotta be honest, it's really nice. It's excellently done. It's excellently done with a die cut insert, and the graphic you see here is actually the top of the manual inside. So that's a real convenient way and ingenious way, really, to save on material cost while still giving the same production quality packaging that you would want. This one here, I'm going to assume means it is their first major game release. So that's really cool. The back, just as well on the printing. It also has another die cut window here. This is another little insert card inside that has the a screenshot from one of the levels in the game, because For those that don't know, Marauder is essentially kind of like a Berserk sort of game in that it's kind of like top down, and you control your guy and you shoot the enemies also from top down, and you wander through different mazes. And instead of the mazes being somewhat random as they are in Berserk, they actually have some connectivity to them. And the idea is to find the central core within each level and shoot it to destroy it, which then advances the game to the next level and increases the difficulty. So, in this particular game, and one of the enhancements is that there are flying levels in between, which are really cool. I do have number 41 of 50, as there were 50 numbered releases on the first batch here. So very, very good quality on this box. I'm very pleased with this production. And for those that are curious, I have compared this. So if you take a look here, to compare it with an actual Atari 2600 released box, it is essentially the same size. Here's my box copy of Phoenix, of course. Yeah, it's essentially the same height. The Atari box might be a tad bit taller, not much. And as far as the width is concerned, they're pretty much dead on. They really are. It's really just the same dimensions. So that's good. That means it won't stick out or look different from the rest of your boxed games, if you should have any others that you display, as I have a few. Additionally, it should work with standard Atari 2600 box protectors, which is also really nice. So you wouldn't have to worry about any gaps or spaces in there that might look a little off. So that's very cool. So onto the game itself and how the internal packaging looks. So I will open it up here. I will warn you that, like a lot of modern releases today, the black printing on all of this is somewhat of a fingerprint magnet. So you just have to kind of get used to that. The game, here's the rest of the contents. We'll put the box off to the side here. You can see, as I mentioned before, how it's been cut out, and they use the manual here as the graphic that's shown in the front window. And then additionally on the back, there is an information card here that talks about More Work Games and some of their other upcoming releases. And this is actually the graphic that was shown through this small cutout window here. So really that's a really nice, ingenious way, I think, to display the product and also make your box stand out from most others. So that's a really cool idea. So again, came with an information card inside. Talks about their other upcoming releases. There's the new Marauder, or a new Marauder, discussed right there. And you can see it's got a 1 next to it, so they've got something else on the horizon. I'll have to take a look into that. And then, here are the rest of the contents that came in the box. We have the main instruction manual itself, which is not in English, but there is an English translation shortcut card that's been provided in brief overview of the instructions in case you don't understand how to play, but it's an Atari game, so, you know, like anything else, they're easy to pick up and play, but difficult to master. But yeah, this instruction manual, I gotta tell you, this is really, really nice. It's printed excellently. I like the layouts and the little graphics they put in here with the words wrapped around it. Different values of the enemies, their point values. This looks to be maze layouts. Very cool. So you can see they've completely redone the mazes as compared to the original Marauder. Of course, if you haven't played that, you wouldn't be familiar with that, but they have redone the mazes. And then basic gameplay directions there. So yeah, in strategy. So that's really cool. Again, the manual matches the serial number printing on the box, so it's number 41 of 50. So very cool. They also included a score sheet. So if you wanted to, you could record your scores. And they've given you a lot of slots for that. It looks like up to 70, because it also continues here on the inside as well. So there's room here for up to 70 scores that can be recorded. Yeah, very cool. The way this is broken down is I'm assuming it's going to have the date, and it's probably going to have your name. I'm not sure. Let me see what that says. It says, oh, so this would be like whatever planet it was, and what looks like what select level, or maybe perhaps difficulty. And then, of course, what the final score was. So, yeah, 70 records that you can keep if you choose. I will probably never write in that because I'm a collector and I try to keep things pristine. And then here's the English translated brief overview, which additionally, there are 2 additional items in this. I'll get to those in a second. So here's the English translations of the gameplay instructions. Yeah, and it's printed in the same quality as the normal manual, just only a couple of pages and not as many graphics, but still very cool for them to include that. And then here is the game itself, and it comes in its own little thin card tray that they've had made specifically for their games. It's interesting to note, in case people haven't realized this, or if anyone else has seen unboxing videos of this game but haven't noticed this, these little tabs here, which are holding the game, do in fact match the logos for More Work Games. So I happened to notice that. I thought that was a pretty cool little touch to include that in the tray the way they did. And then here's the cartridge itself. So the label on this is die cut, and again it is stamped with a matching serial number, 41 of 50 in this case. And the label is not overly glossy, but it is professionally printed, and it is affixed perfectly within the cartridge. Same thing with the end label as well, and you can see it says a new Marauder. And yeah, this is like a white Activision style cartridge shell, and my understanding is that nothing on here is reused. So this is all new material. The cartridges are new. The PCB boards inside containing the game is also new. Obviously the labels. So yeah, so there's no older or original Atari games being sacrificed for the construction of this. So that's very cool. So yeah, that's nice. And plus it's in a white cartridge. I really like that. It goes well. I believe the original game is also in a white cartridge shell, but it's a Tigervision shell. But still, it makes the game stand out if you display it by itself with your other games. And then the other two items are some little information cards. So it looks like we have this one card here with this gold trim. This is also very nicely printed on cardstock. And my guess is, again, it's not in English, but based on what I'm reading with dates, I'm going to guess that this is a brief overview of the history of the Atari 2600, as it states 1977, so it's talking about the release of the 2600. I see 1983 mentioned here, so that might be referring to the video game crash. Not sure what 84 and 86 are listed about, but a little informational card there on the Atari 2600. And then we have another little cardstock printed that has a little advertisement for More Work Games, including their website address. So yeah, that's very neat. It's a very impressive first release for these guys. So yeah, it was a little pricey, I won't lie, and I was worried I wouldn't get one because I was actually on vacation when these were announced. And so as a result, I thought I might actually miss out on getting a copy. As luck would have it, I was able to do some email exchanges with the authors and was able to secure one of the last copies of this game for myself. So, very impressive first release from More Work Games. I look forward to more titles from them, and we'll give this game a good quick play down, or check it out on my 7800 a little bit later, and perhaps tell you guys all about that as well also. So let me just get this back in here without messing anything up, preferably. There we go. Just kind of a tight fit once it gets in there, but that's a good thing, I think. There we go. Good. And there you have it. A new Marauder, a new release, and first release from More Work Games out of Brazil.